Richard Green, head of RHS Garden Bridgewater. The Royal Horticultural Society has got 4 gardens across the UK. This is our 5th garden and the first in the northwest. Sustainability is at the heart of this garden, from the green roof on the welcome building through to our ambition to create new habitats throughout the woodland and the rest of the site, and last of all, the decision to use no single plastics in our cafe. It's a really important part of our green credentials. To tell you a little bit more about the garden, here's our curator, Marcus Chilton-Jones.
Hello, Marcus here, Curator at Bridgewater. It's a beautiful sunny day, the start of spring, and I'm really excited to announce to you all that we've got a firm date for opening in May. The whole team here are genuinely super excited about members coming along and visiting this garden. The team here have been working extremely hard all through the last lockdown, all through the previous lockdowns, all through the winter to get things ready for this opening. Now, so far we've put in over 250,000 plants across this site. That's trees, shrubs, the aquatics, massive bulb displays that have gone in. Fingers crossed with the weather that these will peak when we open in May. We've got an amazing tulip display that will be through the long borders in the wall garden. Alliums are going to be coming up, Camasias. It's a great time to open any garden. We're very lucky. The verdant greens will be showing all through the welcome garden. The woodlands will be just coming to life as well. The first of the bluebells will be coming up. Everything will just be looking resplendent at that point in time. We're really looking forward to welcoming you. If you keep your eyes peeled for emails, anything through the website, newsletters, you will get updates on what's coming up at Bridgewater.
It would have been impossible to create this garden without thinking about the environment and sustainability and the impending climate crisis. So this next clip shows Sylvia Travers, team leader for our inner wall garden, talking about how the principles of forest gardening have helped inform the creation of our kitchen garden.
Hello, my name is Sylvia Travers. I'm the team leader for the inner wall garden here at Bridgewater, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the permaculture end of our kitchen garden. We've been referring to it as permaculture, but more accurately it would be described as an agroforestry or forest garden. It's about 1/3 of the area of this kitchen garden and a pretty new installation for the RHS as a whole. As you can probably hear, we're still building and still finishing here. So a forest garden really uses the principles of a natural woodland and the layers of the way the trees and the plants interact with each other. So it's 7 layers really, and it goes from larger trees to smaller trees, shrubs, down to herbaceous perennials, down to climbers and ground cover, and then to the soil underneath and the rhizosphere and the root interactions. So it's a very holistic way of looking at it, and nothing exists in isolation. They all depend on each other to succeed, and nothing really competes with each other in an ideal system. So it's very different to the way perhaps traditional horticulture or indeed agricultural forestry has been done, because they've looked at things perhaps in isolation, whereas this looks at the whole thing together and how they interact. So forest gardening really isn't a new idea. It's been around for millennia, mostly focused in tropical regions because the light levels are better for growing things in layers. So it's not something that we've kind of invented recently. It's more just, it's become more familiar to us in the West, but it's been something that's been going on for a very long time. So just around me, there's an array of things that are very familiar as things you'd find in your garden or your allotment, but we've got to put them together in a way that isn't often really seen. So you've got wild strawberries in front of me here, you've got a crabapple, you've got hops behind me that are growing really, really tall, and they've only just gone in the last few months, so they're super productive already. And if you've lived by the coast, you'll be familiar with sea buckthorn just behind me here with its silvery foliage. And further in the distance, we've got some alders, we've got a medlar, and things like that, so that there's a mixture of berries and fruit and all sorts of things that give you a feeling of productivity and abundance. The plant selection here is really quite diverse. So you've got things growing for fruit, for fodder, for fibre, got medicinal herbs, edible herbs, things that are nitrogen fixers such as the alders, things that are deep-rooted plants like comfrey and sorrel. So you're fulfilling this whole brief of things complement each other. So the nitrogen fixers will provide nitrogen for the plants around them. The deep-rooted plants will bring up fertility from the lower layers of the soil, and we'll use the comfrey, for instance, as a leafy fertiliser, which we'll make into liquid to spread around on other crops, perhaps in the more formal kitchen garden. An interesting plant we're including here are nettles, and we've had special dispensation to actually cultivate them and plant them, because normally most gardeners think of them as weeds, but actually they're really important to an ecosystem and to gardeners alike, be it as a food source of nitrogen, as a fertiliser, but also as a fibre. So we're including them because they're an integral part to a forest garden. So the reasons why this system is so useful and important, particularly now, given all the issues we have about climate crisis, soil erosion and loss in fertility. So it does all those things. It improves soil fertility. It creates a very closed system where you've got plants shedding leaves in the autumn to feed the plants underneath. As I said, you've got the nitrogen fixers, and you've got those deep-rooted plants that will bring up nutrition to the plants around them. The roots will hold water and hold the soil together and provide a structure. So if you get heavy downpours of rain, the soil won't wash away. It also means that we're not really doing anything to the soil or tilling it. We're not turning it. We're not really cutting back things. We're just maintaining on a very low rhythm. So we don't actually have to do very much. It does its own thing, and it has this sort of very nice interaction where we as gardeners, we're running around maintaining a massive garden, but actually we can kind of leave this to find its own rhythm. And as time goes on, we'll introduce other things like log piles, like mushroom growing on logs, and we'll put in hedgehog houses and things to just diversify the environment a bit more as it matures. And it'll get better and bigger, and hopefully we'll just have a really fantastic thing for people to see when they come.
Thanks so much for listening to what we've been creating here in Worsley. We do hope you visit soon. We open on the 18th of May. Please do visit our website for more information at rhs.org.uk/Bridgewater, and we look forward to seeing you soon.